Well, here's a nudge video for MOP SM5, which is the first of several MOP sessions that will be devoted to the understanding of resonance and standing waves and just why we hear the sounds that we hear from different kinds of musical instruments. This particular one just focuses on the general idea of resonance and standing waves. So this particular question asks about the standing wave patterns that you would see on a guitar string. And you'll notice that all four of them have something in common, and that is that they begin and end, that is on both sides of the pattern, they have a node. And that's because on a guitar string, in order for it to vibrate, you have to have both ends of the string fastened down. So at one end you would put your finger, and at the other end it's just attached to the guitar itself. So that's what all the patterns look like, but they all have different names. The most prominent vibration that a guitar string or any string instrument would vibrate like is known as the fundamental, or also called the first harmonic. And in this particular case, diagram C shows what the first harmonic looks like. And if you could look very, very closely at a vibrating string sometime, you will see it vibrating just like that. So we have a node at both ends and an antinode in the middle. So that's called the first harmonic. Again, that's the most prominent sound, and that determines the actual note that gets heard when you play that string. But there are other sounds that most people don't recognize. They're called overtones or higher harmonics, and well-trained musicians would be able to hear these sounds at the same time they hear the main note from the fundamental. So another prominent sound is known as the second harmonic, and that's shown here. So if we could see the string in super slow motion, we would see it vibrating like diagram C, but also a little bit of the second harmonic shown in diagram A. And to a lesser degree, we would see a little bit of this pattern as well in diagram D, that's known as the third harmonic, and then a little bit of the fourth harmonic, and there are even higher harmonics that you could see. So for example, if I ask you to draw the seventh harmonic, you just have to draw enough of these what we call loop patterns until you get to 7. And so it would go something like that. There's 6, and then you could put one more on there, and that would be what the seventh harmonic would look like. And you don't have to draw it real fancy, no fancier than I did. And so all of these mix of harmonics is what gives different string instruments their particular sounds. And when we hear them all at once, that of course is known as interference. So what the string actually does is the combination of all the mix of harmonics that it's doing at the same time. And there's some neat little web apps that you can actually see what that mix of harmonics looks like when you see it on the string. That'll probably be part of the lesson as you work your way through this unit. So that's how you identify harmonics. If you have to draw them, you would draw them just like I did there, but a lot of what you'll do in this particular mop is just recognizing what those harmonics look like. So that's hopefully a nudge that gets you started both on MOP 5 and some MOPs coming after that as well.